So these two guys, Dolan and Kirby, have kidnapped this rich kid named Jeffrey, who they are holding for ransom in an unheated mountain hideaway.
You have children, Dolan?
No, son.
Oh, hi, Pagoda.
The way I look at it, there are some people in the world with more money than they need, like your father. And there are some people with less, like Kirby and I. We're just trying to equal things out a bit. It's called distribution of wealth.
It's called kidnapping.
A little from column A and a little from column B.
It's time to make yourself useful.
Kirby takes Jeffrey to the basement so he can help him gather some blankets and coal.
Fill up that thing.
Well, that was stupid. Don't try that unless you can at least knock them out in one hit.
Dolan, help!
Anyway, they get attacked by some kind of werewolf-looking creature. They end up chaining it up in the basement and leave Jeffrey in there with it.
What if that thing gets loose?
A chance I'm willing to take.
Leave your canteen in case he gets thirsty.
Kirby's a dick.
Tough luck, Jeffrey.
After they leave, the creature reaches for the water and the kid helps him get it.
You needn't be afraid.
Turns out it can talk, sort of.
I spoke to you with telepathy. I will not die until I choose to do so. But when I am wounded, the healing is slow and painful.
And his name is William.
This is what I shall be when I am healed. And this is my human form.
Far out. Can you do that whenever you want?
It is the least of my powers, Jeff.
He turns out to be a shapeshifter, which is a power he got from some ancient being.
If you've got this power, then what are you doing here?
I was shot trying to save a man. I made my way to the solitary cabin to rest and regain my strength. You must be very lonely and afraid to be taken by such men.
Hey, I can handle it. I'm on my own a lot. My parents don't get a ransom note. They may not notice I'm gone.
This kid is surprisingly tough, all things considered. Anyway, he asks William who he was trying to save.
I hardly knew him, but I believe he was a good man. You see, with my power comes a duty, a solemn obligation to care for humankind.
And what does he get out of the deal?
When I was given the power, I knew my life would be hard, but each of us must decide his path. Some give to the world, others only take from it.
Meanwhile, Kirby thinks that the creature would be valuable to someone.
Look, it's probably from a circus or a museum, something. All we gotta do is figure out how to cash in.
Once we get the ransom, we're gone. History. Besides, you know how I feel about witnesses.
A little later, Dolan contacts an employee of the kid's dad named Harris.
Has your employer followed my instructions precisely?
Yes. Mr. McGregor has his company plane fueled and on the runway. It'll take off as soon as the money arrives.
But he wants to speak to Jeffrey.
Jeff, are you all right?
I'm okay, I guess. When the old farmhouse...
Who tries to give away their location? This kid is just doing everything wrong.
My hand was off the switch. Jeffrey, I would have had you stay up here, but since you still insist on misbehaving, I'm afraid you're going to have to go back downstairs.
He'd probably rather hang out with William anyway.
Dad's paying me money. I should be out of here by morning.
I see.
Speaking of which, he's already starting to heal.
The power greatly accelerates the healing process.
Once I'm home, I'll tell them about you. I wouldn't leave you here like this.
Thank you. It's unnecessary.
Jeffrey asks him why he was the one chosen to get those powers.
That was some 200 years ago. I was taken prisoner in a skirmish near Yorktown. We were packed by the hundreds into the holds of merchant ships anchored in New York Harbor. Well, as it turned out, I happened to possess some desired information. They offered me a bargain, the hiding place of a certain Pennsylvania gentleman for my freedom.
It's kind of funny because 2 other episodes of Monsters are called The Bargain and The Hole. Anyway, he decided he'd rather die than give up that information.
And that my ghost would haunt good King George's bedchamber and dance a jig on his royal backside every night. The old man was there. He'd lived a long time. The power was the only thing keeping him alive. Yet he gave it to me. I suppose he thought I was worthy.
Back upstairs, Harris calls and lets them know that they have the money. Dolan tells them to drop the package by parachute and gives him some coordinates.
When do we get the boy?
When we have the money in our safe, I'll radio his location to you. Tell Mr. McGregor that it was a pleasure doing business with him.
They're gonna do it.
But they hear a noise behind the door. I don't know what they were so worried about. Obviously, it was just the kid listening in.
Let him go, Cubby.
What's the matter? We do it now, we do it later.
Cubby,
It sounds like they were planning to kill the kid all along.
there's nothing to worry about. We're all friends here. You're perfectly safe.
Later, Jeffrey tries to find a way to reach a window, but it doesn't work out. And then he thinks to ask William if he can use his powers to figure out what their captor's plans are.
Stick to the plan, Cubby. Let them die in the fire.
It turns out that they plan on burning down the building with the captives inside.
And you along with them.
And they're both planning to kill each other as well.
He thinks he's so damn smart. He'll see what smart is when he's got 5 inches of steel between his ribs, and I feed him to that thing in the basement.
He breaks the news to Jeffrey, which lights a fire under his ass.
If I can find some wire or chains, yes, chains, I'll string them across the stairs. Then when they come down, I'll trick them. Please help me.
Unfortunately, there just isn't really anything they can do. William can't get out of his chains. Even if he turned into a man and could wiggle out, the bullets would kill him.
Then what good are you? You talk about giving and taking and being worthy and all that, but when I need you, you can't do anything. You're supposed to be some kind of hero. Shot up, beaten up, chained up. You can't even help yourself.
Aw.
Sorry. Just so scared. Going to die. Maybe I'll come back and dance a jig on Dolan's backside every night.
Suddenly, William has an idea.
I have a power which I've seldom used. I can transfer your mind into the body of another boy. A boy living far from this place.
So he'd die in my place?
Oof, that's a terrible idea. And Jeffrey agrees.
Then I'd be just as bad as those two upstairs. I'd be a murderer too. I want to live, but not like that.
Jeff, I have a parting gift to give you.
Yeah, of course that was a test.
I give you the power.
Meanwhile, Dolan is looking out the window to see where the box is being dropped. And so much for Kirby.
I told you, Kirby. No witness.
Dolan goes downstairs and puts on his nice act for Jeffrey.
It's all right, Jeffrey. I've come to take you home.
Suddenly the creature has him,
Jeff!
which turns out to be Jeffrey, and William is human again. And so much for Dolan.
You have done well. There was no other boy.
William dies, leaving Jonathan in his place. And so ends The Gift. Wow, this was a heavy episode that plays it 100% straight, and it's very effective. I love how our monster this time, despite appearances, is completely benevolent, practically saintly. Even during that point where Jonathan loses it and calls him useless, William is still kind to him. Reminds me a little bit of Glim Glim, though less gut-wrenching, at least for me. I guess this is somewhat the humans are real monsters trope, but not completely, since William was human once and so was Jonathan. Dolan in particular comes across as the friendlier of the two, but it's revealed that he's just as bad as Kirby, he's just better at hiding it. Both the director and writer are Monsters alumni. The director was Jeffrey Wolf, who also did The Legacy, and has one more coming. This episode is definitely better than The Legacy. The writer was D. Emerson Smith, who also wrote The Mother Instinct and Microminds. This one is definitely the best of the three, with Microminds being comparatively the worst, not that I didn't like it. Either way, he had an interesting trilogy of episodes. Good work, dude. Like I said, Dolan was played by Abe Vigoda. Duh, like who doesn't recognize him right off the bat? William, as in the voice and human form, was played by John Bulger, who you might remember as the vampire Charles Poole from The Vampire way back in early season 1. He even wears a similar outfit here. And last but certainly not least, Kirby was played by Brad Greenquist, best known for playing Pascal in Pet Sematary. 100% lost my shit when I first saw this episode and recognized him. And I guess that's about all I have to say about this one. It's a very sad tale that almost seems to be saying that nothing good can come of doing good things. Next up is The Bargain. See you then. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Here's some other videos you might be interested in. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to further support my channel, there's also Patreon.
You picked the wrong place.
There are no right places when the world is full of guns and the hearts of men are empty.